let me introduce to you our first guest speaker from our first customer, John Bender. He is CIO of DMI Companies. John, are you out there?
I'm here.
All right, very good. Thank you for joining us today. And if you wouldn't mind just doing a quick introduction of who you are and who DMI is and the products that you make, and then I'll go ahead and advance the slides when you're ready.
Sure. Thanks for having me. John, as she just announced, I am the CIO for DMI. One of my primary responsibilities is driving the strategic IT initiatives and to basically align them with the business goals and strategies. One of our recent overarching initiatives that we started in 2015 has been the convergence of IT and OT to a better mature Industry 4.0 methodology as far as how we operate as a business. DMI Companies consists of 4 strategic business units ranging from air distribution, duct systems, registers, dampers, fire dampers, things of that nature. Been in business since 1978. We're proud, union made. Currently operate in California, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, and Virginia.
All right, I can do this slide real quick for you, John. I put this together just to kind of create a vision of how they are currently structured within their CPQ and XA environment. You'll see on the left-hand side of your screen the XA environment. So they're currently at XA release 9.1 on-premise and in the process of upgrading to release 10 as we speak. They currently have 135 concurrent users, and as you heard, they are multi-site. And for their dealer portal application, they are using the XA ComNet application. On the CPQ side, they are using the CPQ configurator on-premise, and they started their implementation in 2019. And as I mentioned, there is bidirectional integration between XA and CPQ with, of course, as you learned in our last session, supported by the ISE Unique Item Generator application. All right, back to you, John.
Yeah, so obviously one of our overarching goals was with our recent acquisition of Lindab Incorporated, which they offered, every product that they offer to the market is all built to order or made to order. And that presented a challenge considering that they were running a disparate ERP system, and that ERP system was Exapta, which had a built configurator that was developed in-house using internal resources. We needed to replace that, and obviously having over 1 billion possible permutations of ductwork definitely was one of the goals, to make that available to our customers as well as our internal staff, and to have a product, from configuration to order entry to manufacturing to shipping, the entire process, excluding the manufacturing of the components without human intervention. Like I said earlier, we're made up of 4 strategic business units. 2 of our business units are the ones that we're focusing on as far as CPQ related, as they are both very closely intertwined. Our CPQ development with Lynx has been a more or less a 3-year road. And we're approximately 98.5% complete. The interesting part is the amount of unique items that we have had to date. And coming from a business, and I'll speak for DMI, prior to the implementation of CPQ, each and every item was manually done by the accounting group, by the operations group, et cetera. And looking at the amount of unique items to date, that just seems like that could have never even happened. So that's a true success story for CPQ. And I guess also more to the stats, roughly 125 unique items each day, which means that on any given day, there's going to be something that is unique exclusively to that customer. ATI, it's kind of a slower start. Obviously, Lynx has taken the priority, but we fully plan to have that, live sometime in 2023. Our future plans is to go from on-prem to cloud, when that integration opens up for XA. There's also a lot of interest around the 2D imagery, having it more dynamic, expanding, contrasting, things of that nature. But also taking it to the next level. I mean, we leverage, we do a lot of plan and spec business. So for our customers, we will estimate, overlay over CAD drawings, and then obviously, provide them a detailed drawing, and having that level of integration with those tools, in addition to CRM, would definitely take us to the next level. Lessons learned. Yeah, so I guess the very last statement should be the very first, is single source of the truth. And I think, with what we were doing at the time, there was a lot of moving parts, a lot of various faces that we have encountered through our journey. And kind of what was early taught was kind of set in stone. And, it's one of those things that, that we wish we would have done a little bit more homework up front, I guess, and involve more people. One of our most significant challenges is the include rule set versus create component rule sets. There is a 50-50 split as far as if that's really an issue versus just a inconvenience, but as well as the the UIG product, which ISC does sell. We went into that very blindfolded, if you will, as far as how that project would evolve. It's probably, kudos to Charles, for making a pretty robust solution for us. It has worked, it does suit the needs of the business, but just the overwhelming complexity behind that, again, that was a unforeseen issue. Training and knowledge, testing and validation, the daily care and feeding, these are all areas. I don't know, I can't speak to other people that use CPQ, but this has turned into a full-time gig for a big part of our staff, to where it just requires that daily touch, find out what works, what doesn't work, and reacting to those issues as quickly as possible, equates to a more harmonized system and operations. And then kind of last but not least, the best practices, we're kind of developing those as we go. We pretty much know what works and what doesn't work for us. And I think that it has helped us translate that into a meaningful endeavor when it comes to ATI, which is our next business unit. But again, I guess the moral of the story is, do a lot more research, do a lot more training, involve a lot more people. And I think that we would have had a rather quicker road to implementation.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Appreciate you sharing your story. As with every software project or any project, I suppose, there's always lessons to be learned, and perhaps these unforeseen benefits that you didn't expect going into it. So we appreciate you sharing all of